Alright, how's it going everyone? So today's video is going to be slightly different from usual because it'll be less of a tutorial and more of a review. XPPen sent me their Artist Pro 24 for review purposes, and I just wanted to test it out a little bit with some painting, which I haven't done in a while. Also, I'm going to be holding an art contest in collaboration with XPPen. They'll be providing the prizes, so if you're interested in that, be sure to watch until the end of the video. Alright, so here's the box. This thing is gigantic, and in case you're wondering, here's a kind of an adult-sized human skull for scale. Yeah, this thing is it's pretty massive. I genuinely don't know how to tackle this, but I guess we'll figure something out. So let's just get started. Oh Jesus, this thing is huge. I guess we'll save this for the last part again. Everything's very nicely packaged, though, I gotta say, because yeah, this is basically what it came in, or, you know, that's what the tablet was on top of. And I guess we'll go through everything one by one. So, we have the power cable. Seems like this one uses an actual power cable, unlike the Artist Pro 19. Then another power cable, as well as the glove, maybe? Oh, wait, no, this is the remote that I didn't end up using, with the Artist Pro 19. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure all of their tablets, at least the display tablets, come with this little shortcut key remote, and obviously you can map shortcut keys to it. But the problem that I had with it was that it's too small, and I'm sure if you get used to it, it can be pretty useful, but for me, I don't really see the benefit to having this over having just a regular keyboard. And comes with a USB-C cable as well, which is pretty long, seems like 1.20 meters by the looks of it. So we got the microfiber cloth, artist glove. We got some additional nibs for the roller and slim stylus. There are 11 extra nibs in each packet. And then the quick guide. And then we have an HDMI to HDMI cable, as well as a DisplayPort to DisplayPort cable. We got a USB-C to USB-C cable. And the dreaded power brick, no! I thought we were past this stage. This one's really small, actually, so space-wise, I don't think it's really going to be an issue. And then we've got these styli, which come in this really nice case, actually. It has, like, all the stuff you need, like the extra nibs. So as for the styli, I actually really like the slim stylus. If you watched my AP19 review, you may have heard that I'd been using the slim stylus, and I think it's kind of a game changer, because it's so light that you can move it really quickly, and because it's so light, it also feels more like you're using a normal pencil, so it's kind of like you can be more accurate with it, I guess. I also found out that you can pop the buttons off and then replace it with the like flat cover that comes in the case, so if you don't want to press the buttons accidentally, you could do that as well. And as for the other stylus, this one doesn't come with the roller stylus that the AP19 did, but it has an eraser in the back, so I guess if you want to erase stuff, you just flip it over. Also, it comes with two of these kind of like pen holder things, which I guess you can attach to the tablet, and then you can let them hold your pens, so that's pretty nice. And now I guess it's time for the tablet itself. This thing is pretty freaking huge. Let me unpack it real quick. And here's the tablet. Looks super nice. I can't wait to use it. And looks pretty sleek. They got rid of all the buttons on the side. I'm pretty sure the previous Artist Pro 24 actually did have buttons on the side. If you're somebody who used those buttons, then yeah, it does kind of suck because now you're pretty much forced to switch the keyboard. But it doesn't take that long to get used to. Then in the back, we have an adjustable stand, which you can have at whatever angle you want, which is pretty nice because my biggest complaint with the Artist Pro 19 was that it's only at one angle. So if you're somebody who likes to draw at a bigger angle, then, you know, that kind of sucks. But problem is gone with this one. You can also have that back cover on there to cover where all the cables need to be connected, but you know, as you can see, I couldn't figure out how to do it. But yeah, that's it for the unboxing, so let's test this and see what it can actually do. I think I'll start off with a figure drawing because I kind of want to have a drawing to color. I'm planning to do some coloring later in the video as well, because I want to test that out on the tablet. And it's also been a while since I last made a coloring video, and people have been asking for it, so figured I might as well do it with this. But I haven't practiced coloring in a couple months. I also haven't really done it since September, so I might be very rusty with it, so, you know, just bear with me. But yeah, I'm still trying to get used to the tablet. It does feel really nice to use. It's got those 16K levels of pressure sensitivity, which doesn't really come into play right now because I'm using a non-pressure sensitivity brush. But I imagine it'll be really good during the coloring. And then I think one issue that I do have with the tablet is that it's huge. And because it's so big, everything that's on the sides right here kind of like has perspective for shortening, so it's like all the stuff is converging to a vanishing point up there. So that's kind of annoying when you're trying to draw straight lines over here, because you kind of have to angle it from your perspective to make sure that it's actually straight, and that's kind of an annoying thing. But at the same time, having such a big screen to work on is it is kind of nice as well. Tablet's responsive too. Don't really have any complaints about that. And if you guys have seen my Artist Pro 19 review / unboxing, the Artist Pro 19 has a slope here at the bottom, which you can like rest your arm on, and it feels really comfortable. But then this one doesn't have that. There's a big gap here at the bottom. So if you're gonna put down your arm, it has to be on top of the tablet itself, which does not feel very comfortable. But thankfully it doesn't get in the way because there's plenty of screen space to work with. So I wish they just kind of figured out something for that. Like, even if there was some kind of accessory that you could buy to make it better, that'd be great. I'm also not great at talking and drawing at the same time. I lose focus on one or the other when I'm doing both, so, you know, bear with me when I'm just sitting here in silence doing stuff. I think what I'm gonna do is mostly focus on skin shading, because there's a particular image or like reference image that I found that I kind of want to try to copy. I don't know how well I can do it, but we'll see. It's by an artist called Stonehouse. He also has an anatomy book, which I highly recommend you guys pick up, because a lot of the, like, if you like watching my shorts with you know, the quick anatomy tips and stuff, his anatomy book is very similar to that, where it's just a bunch of like random knowledge about different parts of the anatomy. It's not good if you want to study anatomy like from scratch, but if you already know a little bit about it, then it's great. So I ended up doing a second pass where I just kind of refined the initial sketch a little bit and fixed the balance a bit, because she was leaning forward too much, so I moved the upper body backwards a little bit. But yeah, here's what we ended up with, and now I'm focusing on the coloring. Now, coloring is not exactly my strong suit. I haven't like studied it in forever either. I think at this point, if I want to get better at coloring, I think I could spend maybe a month just practicing how to shade cylinders and boxes. I think that would make me a lot better, because I think a lot of the problems that I have with shading right now is that I can't really I can't like on the spot think about how to shade different forms. I have to actually stop and think about it, and that kind of makes it a bit more you know, difficult when it comes to shading. But yeah, that's a lot of time that I'd have to spend on practicing shading, and I don't know if I'd be willing to put in that kind of time when I could spend that time practicing drawing. Now, for the shading on this, I went with a slightly more realistic and desaturated look. I know a lot of people prefer to have their colors be super saturated, but in my case, I like it when the colors don't have a lot of saturation to them. So in this case, I started by laying down my colors very light, and then as I go, like as I'm refining the shading, I just make stuff darker. Of course, the first thing you should do when you're shading, or I guess the most important thing you should do when you're trying to shade, I've gone over this before in a different shading video, which I highly recommend you check out if you want to learn how to shade. But the most important thing that I think you should do is figure out where all of your light and shadow areas are. Make the shadow areas darker, the light areas brighter, or, you know, keep them the same color that they were originally, I guess. And then once you have those light and shadow areas in place, that's when you can actually start to play around with the values. Because with shading, it's similar to drawing, where there's a certain logic to it, and you have to follow that logic, because if you don't, things are just going to look wrong, and no matter how you try to fix it or try to stylize it, if it's not correct to begin with, you're not really going to be fixing anything. With shading, if you're shading a three-dimensional object, you have to decide which planes are facing the light and which planes are which planes are not facing the light right off the bat. And then once you have those in place, that's when you can actually start to make things darker. I think when it comes to shading, it's just all about thinking about how light works, and then once you understand that, that's when you can start playing around with it and you can stylize it in certain ways. Like, for example, you gotta understand that even shadows reflect light, and because of that, they're affected by everything else in the environment that's also reflecting light. Like, if you're trying to paint something and it's standing in front of a red background, the object is going to be receiving a lot of red light that's being reflected from the red background. So you have to make sure that the shadow areas on the object that you're painting have a reddish tint to it. But yeah, that's all stuff that you have to look into if you're trying to learn how to paint. And I think there's a website called Control Paint, which I've got linked in the Art Resources channel in my Discord server. But that website is basically like the Draw a Box, but for painting. It has a lot of free tutorials, and it basically covers like a lot of the basics that you need to know if you want to learn how to paint. So it goes from shapes, forms, all the way to values and stuff. So if you're trying to learn how to paint, I would highly recommend checking it out. But anyway, this is supposed to be a review of the Artist Pro 24, not a painting tutorial. The tablet's great. The colors on it look fantastic. I know XPPen has like a whole section on the product page for this thing, talking about how it can display like billions of colors. I wish there was a way to show it, but yeah. So the Artist Pro 24, they actually have two different models for it, one of which has a 4K screen, whereas the other one has a 165 Hz screen. They sent me the 165 Hz one, which overall I think is better. 4K is nice to have, but it's kind of like, it's not necessary when you're drawing, you know. There isn't really anything else you can do on 4K that you can't do on just a regular 1080p screen. And even then, the 165 Hz one has a 2K screen, so it's you know, it's already more advanced than what I would consider useful. Now, even though it's a higher refresh rate, I honestly can't really tell the difference between this and a 60 Hz refresh monitor. Like the Artist Pro 19 that they also sent me, I've been like testing them side by side, and yeah, I can't really tell the difference in terms of drawing when it comes to the higher refresh rate. I'm sure it's slightly more consistent when it comes to picking up the pen inputs, but it's not that big of a difference that you'll actually like notice it, or that you'll miss it if it's not there. Now, I do appreciate them pushing the technology forwards, because they also have the 16K pressure sensitivity levels, which like, again, I can't really tell the difference between that and 8000 pressure sensitivity. I'm sure there is a difference, especially when you're painting. You probably have more control over it when you're trying to like blend your colors and stuff, but because that's not something that I do on a regular basis, it doesn't really or like, at least I can't really notice the difference. You are paying a lot of money for it, so these like small improvements, I guess, are expected You know, they can't just release the same product that they released 10 years ago and expect to ask like $1,000. But yeah, they I don't really think they make that big of a difference in terms of drawing. Because it has a higher refresh rate, you can use it for other stuff, like you know, I guess if you want to play Counter-Strike at 120 FPS, you can do that as well. It has that adjustable stand which can go all the way up to vertical as well. So you can use this just as a regular monitor when you're not using it as a drawing tablet as well. XPPen does have a Black Friday sale going on right now up until the 2nd of December, and the Artist Pro 24 is going to be 40% off during that period. They also gave me a promo code which is in the description, and then if you use that you get an additional 5% off. So if this tablet looks interesting to you, then now would be the time to get it, I guess. But yeah, it's a good tablet, definitely top of the line, and if you get it, you're set for the next couple of years, I would say. So I'll be hosting an art contest, which is sponsored by XPPen. They'll be providing these prizes. The contest will run from the 21st of November to the 31st of December. To enter, you need to follow both Excaliblator and XPPen USA on Instagram or X, and when you post your artwork, tag it with the hashtag XCalsArtContest. Now the theme for the contest will be the post-apocalypse. So basically, I want you to draw a character and then draw them again, but this time in a post-apocalyptic setting. Whatever the setting is completely up to you. As an example, let's say we have a normal human, and then one day, demon babies descended from the sky and ate everybody. And then this is the apocalyptic version. So whoever has the coolest or most creative or funniest transition wins. And that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. And of course, don't forget you can support me on Patreon or YouTube memberships, which are both linked in the description. You can also join our Discord server if you would like to. And yeah, that about does it. So I guess I'll catch you all in the next video.